we talk about AMMs, we talk about PMMs, we talk about aggregators, we talk about all the cross-chain bridges, try to solve a financial problems by using technology, right? Using technology only. But native is more than that. It's actually trying to solve a financial problem using a financial tool on top of a technology. It's very different mindset. And it was actually first time ever we shifted from trading paradigm from an inventory base, meaning that, hey, when you're trading on-chain, you always need your inventory to be in a place, either in an AMM's pools or in a PMM's wallet to trade and to quote. You transfer that completely from AMM based or from inventory based into credit based. A credit based trading, or what we call it, is powered by the credit margin engine, is what we're familiar with right now with guys like JP Morgan, Bank of America, or UOB. It's all credit based. You put the money back into your UOB bank, the money you put it in is not necessarily the actual cash you put in. They give you a credit. I think the idea is so simple and elegant behind this native solution. It was not even invented by the team. It was already out there, but it has never showed up in DeFi until 3 days ago, together with Stakestone. So these are the numbers here. 30 seconds of analysis from the cross-chain solutions. Daily volumes on the day of, to most people, a miserable day. To native is a good day, 26 million traded. And the credit margin engine is actually all process stone trading for the past few days, close to 10 million. This is just an initial launch. We're supposed to just do a demo, but it actually happened to so quickly that we actually caught us off guard. And another important part is that the financing fees from the market makers, which are happily paid because they leverage the capital, made ETH yield on native lends as high as 52%. I think a lot of people saw it, thought it was actually a scam. No, it's not. The market maker paying it is actually standing in the room right now, and because they borrowed the inventory from there. I'm gonna stop talking. Let's get to the demo, and Han will show you exactly how this works.
I'm Hong, I'm the product lead of Native. First, let me walk through from the retail angle first. Retail users just come in, and the quotes here, they just get it from not only Native, but also external liquidity sources such as 1inch, just offering the best quote to the users. For the lend, it's very similar to Compound and Aave. These are all the different markets and the supply rate and the borrow rate. One thing I want to highlight here is the supply rate that the liquidity provider gets here. It's not only coming from the supply APY here, which is the traditional lending protocol where retail user can do permissionless providing and permissionless borrowing. Those borrow will generate yield for the liquidity provider. On top of that, Native has the credit margin engine where market makers will utilize the capital provided by the retail user. They utilize the capital to do the trading and swapping. So the position fee they're paying here will eventually reflect it to the yield. This is what retail user will see. For the supply and borrow panel, it's exactly the same as the borrowing and lending protocol out there. Next, I'm going to switch the angle to the market maker's point of view, see how it works, how they view the positions. I'm going to do a real swap and one real bridging and see how that affects the positions that market makers is holding. I'm going to put it side by side. On the left, this is the view of a retail user. On the left, a back-end panel that market makers is seeing right now. So they can see their open positions, what's their live position right now. This is the real data that market makers have been doing settling with Stone and Ether in the past few days. So I'll do a swap from Stakestone to Ether to represent the instant withdrawal that we see on the Stakestone UI as well. On Native, we can do the same thing. Before I actually do the swap, I'm going to explain what's going to happen. As a retail user, now I want to swap Stone to Ether. Retail will pay Native this Stone. And Native, or the market makers, need to somehow get the Ether and pay to the user to complete this swap. This Stone will actually go to Native, and Native will know, oh, this quote is given by this market maker, and this market maker will take this Stone, put it into a long position as collateral. At the same time, market makers will borrow wrap Ether to pay the retail user. And the borrow activities will represent as short position here. So market makers doesn't actually need to prepare the Ether in advance. They can just borrow from the inventory that Native have in the lending protocol. This all happens by the CME that run behind the scene, and market makers just give the quote, and over time there will be long and short position here, and they can just do settlement after a period of time if it's needed. Let me bring your attention to these two numbers. When I do the swap, the stone here will increase by this amount as a long position increment. And the short position will increase as market makers will borrow more, so this number will increase. Okay, I'm going to refresh. This is 7881 now. Okay, yeah, so it increased by 0.01. This is how the swap, the real-time trading happens to the position. Imagine the swap can happen here. It can happen on the Stakestone website we see just now. And it also can happen when anyone call our API and execute a swap, like 1inch or different aggregators or solvers using our liquidity. When they actually execute a swap, the position here will change accordingly. This is for same-chain swapping. Next, I'm going to move on to do the demo for bridging. The bridging here, I'm going to do the similar things that Chris did just now for bridging the stone on scroll to Ethereum. Scroll stone to Ethereum on Ethereum. Before I actually do the bridge, similarly, I will explain what's going to happen to the position. Here it's slightly different. Retail user is paying stone on scroll to native, and market makers need to borrow Ether on Ether from native to pay the user on Ethereum. I'll take a look at the Ethereum first. Market makers will borrow Ethereum on Ethereum here. This number will increase by this amount after I do the bridge. That means market makers borrow more, so their short position increase on Ethereum. And then let me switch to scroll. Okay, so scroll, now I'm going to talk about the unclaimed order. The stone user provide on scroll is not going to be the long position directly. They will go to unclaimed orders. The difference here is because for bridging, it's not atomic. So it's possible that user pay the stone on scroll, but somehow the market makers is offline or they didn't fulfill their obligation to pay the money on Ethereum mainnet. It's possible that the bridge failed. In that case, we need to escrow the stone first before paying the market maker directly on scroll. That's why we have a separate smart contract to hold the stone temporarily before market maker actually complete the transaction. That's the unclaimed orders here. After the market makers complete the bridge on the destination chain, the escrow will release and market makers can claim the stone here collectively. This is how unclaimed orders works for bridge context. So after I do the bridge, unclaimed order here will increase by this amount of stone, representing the retail user paying the stone to native, and native counted on their market maker's account. So let me do the bridge. And yeah, let me do the bridge now. And we can see this number. Okay, now it increased from 84 to 89 right now. And on Ethereum, the open position increased by this amount as well. So this is how the position works. Similarly, imagine the bridge, we integrate with different bridge venues where the bridge happened behind the scene. The long and short position will just change accordingly. The benefit for market makers is that they no longer need to prepare all the inventory at different chain anymore. They can just utilize the inventory of native to settle the trade first, and then they can do settle after. Another benefit of this is that they can just utilize the very deep concentrated liquidity on native. The potential of the order size they can quote is no longer limited by their own inventory on chain. They can deploy their capital mostly on central exchange, and for the on-chain venues, they can just put a small collateral and use the credit to trade much larger order size using the credit margin engine the native provides.